Jamie, how do you feel about the Veterans for Peace call for impeachment?
Long overdue. It's about time. Thank you.
The Veterans for Peace impeachment tour bus. What do you think about the call to impeachment?
Well, I think it's kind of pissing in the wind. But, other than that, I think it's great. I mean, I'm all for pissing in the wind. But the thing is that, it's not really that. I don't really think it's that at all. I think that it's actually excellent. The cracks are starting to show. This bus can kind of slide through the cracks that are rippling across America, exciting the consciousness outward so that the entire idea expands and becomes a movement that then grows and grows until it becomes a reality.
I do have no spitting, whittling, and cussing, but seeing as this is for a good cause, we'll overlook that.
I'm going to read. This is all in, honor of what these guys are doing. So this is E. E. Cummings' I Sing of Olaf, Glad and Big. I sing of Olaf, glad and big, whose warm heart recoiled and bore a conscientious objector. His well-beloved Colonel Trig, West Pointer, most succinctly bred, took an erring Olaf soon in hand, but though an host of overjoyed non-coms, first knocking on the head him, do through icy waters roll that helplessness which others stroke with brushes recently employed, anent this muddy toilet bowl, while kindred intellects evoke allegiance for blunt instruments, Olaf, being to all intents a corpse, and wanting any rag upon what God unto him gave, responds, without getting annoyed, I will not kiss your fucking flag. Straight away the silver bird looked grave, departing hurriedly to shave. But through all kinds of officers, a yearning nation's blue-eyed pride, their passive prey did kick and curse, until for wear their clarion voices and boots were much the worse, and egged the first-class privates on, his rectum wickedly to tease, by means of skillfully applied bannocks roasted hot with heat. Olaf, upon what were once knees, does almost ceaselessly repeat, there is some shit I will not eat. Our president, being of which assertions duly notified, threw the yellow son of a bitch into a dungeon where he died. Christ, of his mercy infinite, I pray to see, and Olaf too, preponderatingly because, unless statistics lie, he was more brave than me, more blonde than you.
equipment for engines. Yes. There's one European one that has a GPS system in it that if you're carrying the phone that drives it, and they'll just follow it.
He's hang out above you?
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
I think that you can do the same thing with disaster response. They got the GPS phone on them, so you got eyes in the sky above the guy walking around scouting the mission.
Yeah.
You're basically looking at what are your obstacles in getting access to something. So
Yeah.
it's pretty quick.
Yeah. Just like 10 years ago, that thing would have sapped its juice out by now.
Yeah.
Flat on the ground already.
Yeah, it's very forgiving if I get out of control with it.
Yeah.
All stabilized?
If I just let go, it kind of hovers.
Yeah.
But it's
Oh,
also
did
got
you?
sensors
So if you
underneath
go out
it.
of range
So,
input, yeah.
Yeah.
so it's got a sensor, so it knows if it gets too
To
close
avoid
to something.
something.
So, yeah.
So there's no camera in it then.
There's a camera up
Oh,
front.
there
Yeah,
is.
look it. I'm recording right now.
Oh,
High res, and then it's also got a camera that points down. A
Oh,
low res
gotcha.
camera, so I can see my.
holy cow.
You can just have it hover above you and give you a fan if it's like
Yeah.
hot out.
Yeah, I'd love to get a shot of
Way
my
to do
bus
it.
Oh,
here. I got my grease-powered bus here.
Your what?
Grease-powered bus.
Grease powered.
You use cooking oil?
Oh yeah.
240 gallons. We can go anywhere in the country.
Yeah?
We do disaster response with it.
Oh, this is a great
Yeah,
thing for
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Oh, man,
yeah.
You could get out there and
Right, scout
check
stuff
things out
out.
safe.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and they're only a couple hundred.
Yeah, and if you're around, I'd like to get
Okay. Yeah.
shoot a little video going around my bus. I think
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
that'd be perfect.
Yeah. Where is it at?
It's in the auto thing.
Okay.
So we're
The giant bus, you can't
we're
really miss
right
it.
over here.
The green bus?
The big green bus. This
Yeah.
one.
Oh, I want to. Let's go now. I've
All
been
right.
wanting to see that.
All right.
The guy over there is probably talked anyway, so we probably should get back.
Yeah.
Out of breath by now.
Oh my.
So what do you do with the bus? That's your disaster response.
Yeah. Here's, this is about the bus and the village project we're doing here.
Great.
Oh, well, that's the farm. That's the farm. Where's the? Holy cow! All we got is.
Came out already.
It looks like they're all gone. All my busmans are gone.
Oh, it's a cool bus.
Come check. Oh, here's one.
Can I take that one?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
okay?
yeah,
Okay.
They're just going out to restaurants and asking them to donate their old vegetable oil that they don't need anymore. Then you can run.
So we start from this regular tank.
Yep.
Up on my dash, there's a little button with a light on it.
Yep.
When it's right temperature, all the cooking oil gets pumped through all these tanks. I mean the heat coolant. So we bring all these up to temperature. Hit a
You're
switch.
bringing them up to temperature with the coolant.
It's got pumping all the way through all the tanks. Okay. So now these are 140, 180 degrees. I push the pump. Pump spins the centrifuges, knocks out all the cornmeal, all of the debris, whatever.
So you can just put the raw stuff.
raw crap right in
Yeah.
here. We're pulling it out here, and then we're taking these two tanks and filling that one
Yep.
from underneath the bus.
Yep.
This one fills this one does the engine. So when we start the engine, get up to temperature, hit the button, and we pull and return from here.
Yep.
When we go to shut down, hit the button again. We just returned to here and started pulling out of that tank, purges the system. 5 minutes later, it shuts itself off, and I'm ready to start again. So we left Rockaway Beach, New York after Hurricane Sandy.
Yep.
Drove to Seattle without refueling, and it cost me $100. 15,000 miles later, I spent $300.
Yep.
And it was all used cooking oil.
Well, I don't know about. There's a lot of people out there. Why don't I come back?
Sure.
And just at the end, if it's nice out, okay,
Yeah.
just at the end, and we'll do a fly around.
We're going to Chalmette to work on Ronnie Snow's house, he is a local musician in New Orleans. We're working with Araby Wrecking Crew today. Ronnie, the guy whose house this is, him and his wife Iris, Ronnie is a guitar player, and in the back he had a shop where he was making guitars. He plays 6 gigs a week. He used to only play a couple for fun, but now he has to play 6 nights a week because he lost his home and his wife's cleaning houses, whereas they're like set to retire.
When we first came down here, they were very grateful that we were down here. They actually thought we were paid. We're being paid for this. And once we told them that we were volunteers, I mean, Ronnie's wife just broke down, and we're very grateful. And I think that's why we're here. Yeah, it's seeing their reaction, seeing the appreciation, just human kindness. That's what you find here, and that's what drives me down here. And then Kelly too. She's the one that did everything for us. It's all Kelly's fault that I'm down here.
Well, I was really glad that Maricela decided to come down. We had 2 other vets down here, Joe and Ethan, and a lot of people want to come down. They haven't been able to for whatever reason, but I think now that we have the camp for a long period of time and we're going to be able to continue to volunteer out of the camp in Slidell, that's going to be really great for people to be able to have a place where they can come down. And working with Chic with Araby Wrecking Crew is really great because they're working, because August 29th there's a deadline in New Orleans that people have to have their houses gutted and boarded up, or else the city is going to repossess the land and bulldoze the home. And so we're trying to work against that deadline, and Araby Wrecking Crew is working on gutting out houses before the deadline so people can keep their homes, and also they're focusing on musicians' homes to bring back like that integral part of the musicians being in New Orleans when music is such an important part of the culture here. And like if you look at this house where it's dented in here, they say that's from the storm surge coming over. Insurance adjuster came and said, not paying for that, went through, saw a bunch of things, I'm not paying for that, I'm not paying for that. This is a house that Ronnie said was probably worth about $150,000 before the storm. Their homeowner's insurance gave them $2,400. And then they haven't really been able to come back because they had to move to Metairie, which is, I think, about an hour away. That's where all their family, they had some family there, the rest of their family moved there, and now Iris is cleaning houses with her daughter, or her daughter-in-law, I'm not sure. You know, and of course they're thankful because they didn't lose any of their family members in the storm. But this neighborhood here, this is where Ronnie and Iris live. They had children who lived in this area, you know, brothers and sisters. It just seemed like this whole neighborhood, like they had a lot of family ties here. A lot of their family lived in this neighborhood, and everyone lost everything. So I'm gonna get to work.
Get to work.
Yeah, the spores are in here
pretty big time.
yeah.
They waited too long to come back, you know.
Yeah.
They kept people out for so long. In the past, like the minute the water go down, we'd be right back in there. and hosing it down and bleaching it right away, and didn't give it a chance to get started. There you go. See, the outside, not so much.
Yeah.
On the backside, it's really growing. No, not going to be a good thing. About lunch, we get it early. Yeah, we in the house working.
Hey, Chief, do you have an air compressor to fill up that fire before?
Yeah, sure.
Eventually, we need that through.
What happened? I think we pumped it up. It wouldn't hold any more air. It's got
Oh, it wouldn't hold it in.
badly.
Oh, okay.
It holds like so much pressure in it. They get another wheel down. Tom's got another truck. He can haul it around. Because I can only carry two. You know, if we find a big garbage can and put on a hamper, they're great big garbage cans.
You see this pile right here?
Yeah.
This is what we salvaged. This is things that might be savable. So everything that was in this house, when you're talking about furniture, when you're talking about mementos, this is all the things that we saved from this house. It's heartbreaking because when you're this was my first house that I started mucking and gutting. Mucking basically means to actually remove everything from what's in the house and take it out, trash it out. And gutting is bringing down the drywall. When I first started this, it was such a big mess, we couldn't even get into the door. But what happened was that all I wanted to do was try to save something for them. Bring it out to them and say, look, could you use this? The one thing that I found was that we found some pictures of Ronnie's wife's family of World War II. They have vets in their families, and she was in tears when we found that for her. Luckily, she had it in a plastic bag, and it was above the closet. And there's a picture of her grandfather. That's what we're here for. You know, human kindness is something that you can find. And in Katrina, I think that's one of the things that we found, was that even after the destruction, was that there is human kindness, and people are doing such a great thing. And that's why I'm here, and that's why IBAW is here. Because we want to make sure that we're helping them out. And that's how we help ourselves out. So this is what they found. This is what we have for them.
I'm Gertrude LeBlanc. I've been living at this site for 45 years till Katrina came along.
And what street do you live on?
Tennessee Street.
Tennessee in the Lower Ninth?
Yeah.
And did you evacuate?
Yes. We got out the Sunday before the hurricane, which the hurricane didn't do damage. Well, the boys came through the levee, that's what did the damage. And we have nothing. Moving back here, hope they give us, like the elderly, they hope they give us a home, you know?
How long did it take you to get your trailer here?
It took me, well, I just got the trailer 3.5 months ago.
And today's date is?
Today's date is today is 3.5 months. I got it on 10th of March.
That's 2007.
That's right.
18 months after the storm.
That's right.
Where did you evacuate to?
I evacuated to Pensacola, Florida. I stayed there 1 month, and then I went to Napoleonville, Louisiana.
And
that's where I call up and they give me a handicap trailer. But like you see, it's still, they didn't move the debris, but everything else is still as is. It's like it's the forgotten part of the city.
what do you think their intentions are?
Well, our intentions are, and I pray, that they would give us the money to rebuild our homes. Now what the city's intentions are, I don't know, because they don't want to do nothing down here.
You were mentioning to me earlier about the grass being growing up.
Yeah, the grass is growing. Some people will come and cut the grass. Other than that, as you could see, the grass is high, and we asking them to come and cut the grass, you know, so that we don't have to deal with rodents and mosquitoes. But
It's a health issue for you, isn't it?
yes, it is a health issue, and we ask them to come down here and look at it, you know.
It's not too far from CDB, huh?
No, but it's like this is the forgotten land, you know, and the people need help. These that have come back, at least cut the grass. We don't have to deal with the health problems, you know. Cut the grass, that's what we want them to do. Because we're going to take care of our own, you know. Just get the grass cut.
Are you waiting for road home money?
Ah, that's right. I want to put a modular home on my property. And that's what I'm waiting for.
Are they telling you how high you have to build?
They haven't told me anything, you know, like when they get down to the specifics, you know. But it's got to be elevated, that's for sure, you know. Because my house that I had here was like 1, 2, 3, about 3.5 feet or 4 feet from the ground. It was on pillars, you know. And like I said, it's not going to be high in the air, you know. It's going to be like 3 or 4 feet. Yeah. But I'll be glad to put me a modular home back there. Because this is where I was for 45 years.
This was quite a community, wasn't it?
Oh yes, it was. It was really nice. We owned our homes, we were retired. And you could sit on your porch and talk to your neighbors.
And you knew all your neighbors, didn't you?
Yes. Knew all of my neighbors.
What are the ones that survived, and have you been talking to them since?
Yeah, they got one in Hammond, Louisiana, one in Vacherie, one that, well, she couldn't come back to our house. One staying uptown, but they're all over the state, you know. And they would like to come back home if the road to recovery would just give us that money to rebuild, you know. But it's a waiting game.
But you're willing to wait, aren't you?
Oh, yes. Like they say, I have age, but guess what? I don't look at age. With the good Lord's help, they're going to do right by us. Because we didn't cause that, they did. Well, we didn't cause the hurricane, but that was man-made back there.
The levee.
Yep. So, now they got tourists come back here. You think they'd want to cut the grass, you know? Because they got to pay taxes for them tourists to come back here. But what they looking at? A forest. That's what they're looking at. So if we could just get the grass cut, that would be the main thing.
This doesn't seem too much to ask.
That's not too much to ask. That's for sure. Be nice to wake up in the morning and find the grass cut all around us. Oh, look what he got up. I'm going to keep at it. Somebody's going to get aggravated enough to come and cut this grass for us. Because guess what? They ain't going to get me disgusted to leave my house. This is the temporary house. I don't want to live in a trailer all my life. I want my own house I had there. And that would be nice. And my neighbors, a lot of them want to come back. They want their houses. They have our neighborhood back. Not say everybody's coming back. We know that. But those that want to come back.
So if you had the chance, what would you say to George Bush?
Well, I tell you what. He come down to here and he said, I'm going to do everything I can to see that you all get back. He didn't do it. People in Mississippi got this money and they did anything they wanted to do with it, which we built. But it's like New Orleans, they fighting us every step of the way.
Do you think it's about politics?
Well, like you say, it could be politics, you know. Give us a break. We didn't cause all of this. If we were rich, that would be a horse of a different color. But we not what you call poor elderly people.
Well, you owned your own home, didn't you?
We owned our home. You got lawyers, doctors. I worked 37 years at the post office and retired. We on fixed income. We don't have the amount of money that we were making when we were actually working. So help us out.
That's what you pay taxes for, right?
And people upstate, the church people, come down here. Miss, what could we do for you? The college students, Miss, could we do for you? Anybody else? Don't come ask nothing.
What do you think of Common Ground?
Common Ground has helped. Common Ground has helped a lot, you know, for supplies and different things. And when they had a larger volume of people, they would come and cut the grass, you know. But they don't have too many people coming back, you know, to help out. So it's the people, church people from all over the United States. They come and try to make a difference.
God bless.
Oh, yes. God is really blessed. He blesses us when they come ask you. How many people would ask you, what can we do for you? Not too many. Not down here, anyway. It's the college students, which they don't have too many come now, but the church organizations all over the United States have come here. Elderly, young. What could we do for you? That's words I had never heard in my life till we moved to this trailer and people come and ask us what we could do for you. That's beautiful, you know. And they'll pray over you, you know, and say, wish us luck. But other than that, it's rough. It really is. I pray for all of them. But how long will this go on?
How do you feel about $12 billion being spent a month on a war in Iraq and then weighing that against your situation?
It wouldn't even take $1 billion to give us our neighborhood back. It wouldn't. To build this whole subdivision, it wouldn't take $1 billion.
So what they spend in 3 days in Iraq would take care of your neighborhood.
Ooh. But the thing is, if they're fighting a war, give them the best of everything to fight that situation. You know, best equipment, everything. That's what they would need.
But they're not getting that either.
From what you hear on television, it's like they're not getting it, you know. And that's what it is. I read my Bible every morning, and all of this is already in there. It has to come about.
So do you think it's important what we do now?
Well, I don't think man can't bring about peace. Only the good Lord can bring that peace. Because there's trouble all over this world. And it's not getting no better, it's getting worse. But we pray that the best things, man was meant to live in peace and harmony with one another. That we don't have. You know.
I come down here from Jersey City. That's where I live. But this isn't the first time I've been here because, you know, Veterans for Peace was one of the first groups that were on the ground after Katrina hit, providing relief to the people of this area. And I think it's worth briefly, even though my voice is almost gone, I think it's worth briefly telling the story of how that happened. Because we hold an annual convention of our organization every year. And last August we held it in Dallas, Texas. And when we held it, we invited Gold Star mom Cindy Sheehan, whose son was killed in Iraq, to come and speak. And when she came to Texas, she said, if I'm going to be in Texas and Bush is on vacation down in Crawford, I'm going to go down there and camp out to try and meet with him. So we took Cindy down in the White Rose bus, which is part of this march also, and sat down in the ditch, and that became the Camp Casey movement, which rocked America. Because when Bush went back to Washington, we decided to break camp, and we got buses to send on the Bring Them Home Now tour, going throughout the country, spreading the message. And just as that bus tour was ready to roll, Katrina hit. So we took all the food and supplies that we had from Camp Casey, loaded them in the White Rose bus from Mendocino chapter of Veterans for Peace, and drove over to New Orleans and began distributing. We were here before the Red Cross, we were here before FEMA, and we were here before anyone else was here. Well, you know, by doing that, Michael Moore, the filmmaker, put out an email in support of the efforts of the Chapter 115 bus. And within 3 weeks, over $500,000 was raised. And because we knew that we were incapable, by having a crew down here distributing that, because we weren't local folks, we began giving that money to local groups, grassroots organizations doing relief, the Common Ground Collective. The Common Ground Health Clinic. Saving Ourselves After Katrina out of Mobile. And Plenty International. Now, we did something, but you know, what it came down to today is the day that 3 years ago George Bush began the invasion of Iraq. On this very day, 3 years ago, a war that didn't have to happen and is illegal under international law was launched by our government against another nation. So when we started talking about, well, how are we going to take that opportunity, that occasion to again raise our voices to demand that the troops be brought home and the people of America be taken care of, we talked about the idea, why don't we do something like the old Selma to Montgomery March, but this time go from Mobile to New Orleans to talk about how the money you spend abroad should be spent here. If you can build a military base in the middle of a desert to wage war in 6 months. Don't tell me you can't rebuild a city with over 500,000 people in it in 6 months. But here it is, 7 months later, and it don't look that much different to me than when I was down here 4 months ago. It looks to me like they just decided, let's write off New Orleans, or at least let's write off the people in New Orleans and get our hands on the property. But I'm glad to see people here. This is a beautiful gathering. We've walked a long way. My feet are tired, but my spirits are high. Because we know that if we're going to change this country, it's got to be more than just your standard, normal, get out, get a permit, go have a demonstration, go see if you're on TV, go keep doing the same old, same old. You got to start thinking out of the box, and that's what we did here. We're trying to launch a movement that will link the issues of war abroad with the issues of the war at home, and try and raise it into a mighty force that can transform this country into something we can be proud of, rather than a rip-off war-time state. We spent a lot of time holding meetings and events in churches as we marched along, in Biloxi, in Gulfport, and so on and so forth. And one of the things I picked up from there is how the ministers do it. So can I get a witness? Do we need to bring the troops home? Say amen. Do we need to bring the survivors home? Say amen. Do we need to stop the war? Say amen. Do we need to rebuild New Orleans and the Gulf Coast? Say amen. Can I get a witness? Can I get a witness? Hallelujah, people.
Hurricane Katrina broke through the levees. It broke a lot of hearts. It destroyed buildings, but it didn't affect the spirit of a lot of citizens. And so it's my attitude is this: New Orleans, better days are ahead. It's sometimes hard for people to see progress when you live in a community all the time. Laura and I get to come. We don't live here. We come on occasion. And it's easy to think about what it was like when we first came here after the hurricane and what it's like today. And this town's coming back. This town is better today than it was yesterday, and it's going to be better tomorrow than it was today. First, I do want to thank our fellow citizens for their generosity when it comes to helping New Orleans and the Gulf Coast rebuild. A lot of people down here probably wondered whether or not those of us in the federal government not from Louisiana would pay attention to Louisiana or Mississippi. In other words, one thing to come and give a speech in Jackson Square, it's another thing to keep paying attention to whether or not progress is being made. And I hope people understand we do. We're still paying attention. We understand.
So what do you think of the grass?
That is beautiful. My youngest daughter comes to say, she said, what you did had a miracle? I said, yeah, miracle came and cut the grass. Look here. I'm telling you, I could see all the way to the highway without no problem.
How about your son? How about your daughter? How come it's always poor folk who get shoveled off to slaughter? If you're so gung-ho, why don't you just go? In August of '05, a mighty voice did rise. She lost her precious son, and it can't be undone. She went to see the king, a downright simple thing. She thought she'd tell him of the depth of a mother's love. How about your son? How about your daughter? How come it's always poor folk who get shuffled off to slaughter? If you're so gung-ho, why our sons and our daughters. Here comes the smear campaign. We must love Saddam Hussein. Well, Mr. President, why are you so hell-bent on keeping up this lie about why our soldiers died? What is this noble cause for which our young march off? How about your son? How about your daughter? How come it's always poor folk who get shuffled off to slaughter? If you're so gung-ho, why don't you just go and send us back our sons and our daughters? Send us back our sons and our daughters. Sons and our daughters. So why not answer her what cause their kids died for? If you're such a regular guy, just look them in the eye. 'Cause this ain't make-believe. Beware the web you weave. Now go and fix your facts. 'Cause we've got Bill and Amy and Juan and Nadia and Karen and Carlos and Dee Dee and Julie and Brooke and Carly. And we've got Cindy's back. How about your son? How about your daughter? How come it's always poor folk who get shuffled off to slaughter? If you're so gung-ho, why don't you just go and send us back our sons and our daughters? Please send us back our sons and our daughters. Yeah, send us back our sons and our daughters. Our sons and our daughters.
There is a peaceful solution called a peace revolution. Now let's take back America. There's a war and we're in it, but I know we can win it. So let's take back America. Let's take back America. It's a dream, so believe it. Now get ready to receive it. Now let's take back America. When the war is over and we've won it, let's remember how we done it so we don't have to do it again. So we don't have to do it again. There's a peaceful solution called a peace revolution. Now let's take back America. There's a war and we're in it, but I know we can win it. Now let's take back America. Now let's take back America. There was a peace resolution and a peaceful revolution, and the peaceful solution saved America. And the peaceful solution saved America.
a nitty-gritty, bar band in Montana. So, you guys know Wagon Wheel. Okay. I will pause on the first chorus, solo the hell out of it, and I'll play the rest.
Go Charlie! Jacob!
Play it, Jacob!
Yeah, baby!
This song is by Oko Medicine Show, and it's called Wagon Wheel.
This one got stuck. Alright. I like the way it failed though. I like the way it failed.
And so working with these volunteers has been an exceptional opportunity because it has provided us the means to provide our veteran leadership the chance to get back out there and utilize the skill sets that they were taught in the military and utilize them out here outside of the military in a community environment.
Just my job, I am currently helping to dispatch as well as monitor all incoming chat from both Google Voice and the Palantir chat.
So when you say Google Voice and Palantir chat, these are the team leaders that are on site?
Correct. These are the team leaders that are out maintaining accountability through text messaging, as well as contacting additional people via Palantir system to confirm availability for work orders.
So can you track where your teams are at any one time?
If they were issued a Palantir phone, I can visually track them on this map, although some teams are using personal phones via Google Chat contact.
Gotcha. So are these dots that I'm seeing the sites that we've worked on or are working on?
These are unassigned work orders. These are jobs that still need to be completed.
A lot of work still.
Yes. Over 400 open work orders.
How many work orders are we completing a day then?
I don't know the answer to that question.
How many teams are we sending out?
Currently, I believe we have 10 teams out.
Of how many people?
Varies between the teams. We have teams of 8 up to 20.
Awesome, thank you.
Yes, sir.
The family's going to meet us there in about 10 minutes at the bottom of the hour. We have a lot of water down there.
They fought on the front lines. Now, hundreds of military veterans are in the Rockaways, determined to aid the area devastated by Sandy.
We're a disaster relief organization. We work domestically and internationally. We're made up primarily of veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan.
They're called Team Rubicon. Their focus? Deploying military and medical professionals to humanitarian crisis situations. Member and Vietnam War veteran Bruce McInnes was nearly brought to tears talking about their efforts.
I've never seen anything like this. It's very a moving experience for many of us to be involved in an effort that has just so much goodwill and volunteerism attached to it.
The team's site on Beach 124th Street and Rockaway Beach Boulevard offers water, food, and supplies to veteran volunteers like Iraq War veteran Daniel Groman, who's gone door to door to help residents.
We were going out and taking out sand out of people's houses, dewatering basements, doing a lot of debris removal, taking things that were destroyed out of their houses. So this is the Palantir system.
Parked on the Team Rubicon site, the Veterans Green Bus, which is an environmentally friendly mobile disaster response unit. The bus attracted the curiosity of President Bill Clinton, who came to check it out Sunday during his foundation's Day of Action for New York. A welcomed visit for these volunteer veterans who believe helping the community also helps them.
Team Rubicon really facilitated my transfer by helping me in ensuring that I had a community, I had a mission, and I had a purpose coming out.
Now, right behind me, this is the actual Veterans Green Bus that Bill Clinton came to check out. It is a bio-sustainable bus that not only has transported volunteers from Chicago to here, but it's also transported equipment, and it now houses a communications
veteran, and this was his Veterans Green Bus. It's an old bus he converted to run on cooking grease and added satellite internet, making the Veterans Green Bus the perfect sustainable disaster response command center. Pretty cool, huh? Gordon and the bus provided relief to the victims of Hurricane Katrina. He helped rebuild after Hurricane Sandy. Look, there's Bill Clinton and Team Rubicon. And yes, he was in Texas after Hurricane Harvey, helping people get their lives back together. Well, guess what happened a couple weeks ago? Some assholes torched the Veterans Green Bus. The Veterans Green Bus is no more. Let's get him a new bus.
No. Convertible. Go on, convertible. Party bus.